Hey there, folks. This is Oz Music Podcast, episode number 13. Lucky number for some, unlucky for others. Okay, I am your host for the show, Damien V. Thank you so much for tuning in. Well, earlier this week, I did have a lovely chat with an extremely talented hip-hop artist out of WA, MissGenius. And we spoke about her latest releases, her home studio, her surfing skills, living in beautiful Western Australia, and loads more. I will spin up the interview a little later in the show, so make sure you do not miss out on that one. Anyway, on this week's episode, we have lined you up another great bunch of Aussie bands and artists, including the incredible LOCUS, Gemini the Josh, LUNE, Benny Nelson, just to name a few, and of course all of the latest releases and news from the Australian music scene. So as always, kick back, grab a coldie or pour yourself a cuppa and get ready for another hour of Aussie music power. Okay, kicking off the show for tonight, hailing from Perth from his latest EP, this is Dillon with Don't Act Like You Know Me. Hailing from Western Australia, that was Dillon with Don't Act Like You Know Me. Phenomenal song, I really love it. It's kind of like a Dinosaur Jr. track, but with Paul Kelly vocals. Great blend. Very, very nice. Well, Perth darling Noah Dillon and his four-piece alternative rock band have already had a massive career, being nominated for Wham's Song of the Year award in the pop category and also garnering rave reviews and plenty of radio spins for that single we just played. Performing at Wham Fest, Big Sound Festival, Wave Rock Weekender and Music Matters Singapore in 2019, Noah is now rounding out the year with his astonishing EP release titled Melts. The band consists of Noah, Jack, Claudia and Sam, and they have been wildly successful since the release of their first single, The Man I'm Not, back in 2017. Their songs have received hundreds of thousands of streams on Spotify, along with community radio and national radio airplay across Australia. The band says that while they do play under Noah's name, there is a large amount of creative input by all the members. Noah does have all the usual socials, so you know what to do. Head on over to his Facey, click on that follow button and support this sensational act. Okay, rolling on with the show. Next up tonight, this is Gemini the Josh with Where I Wanna Go. Wow, what a great track that was, Gemini the Josh, with his latest single, Where I Want to Go. Well, at heart, I really am a blues lover, and this song really hits the mark. I'm really digging that Fender rhythm guitar tone on the track, and his large and powerful vocals combined with that heartfelt storyline just ticks all the boxes for me. Sculpted from the last few years on the road, Gemini the Josh crafts cruisy and uplifting alternative pop rock tunes enriched with powerful and harmonically pleasing vocal lines, hooks, lyrics and melodies. Josh does have some upcoming news with 2 new tracks being planned for a 2020 release with potential for more. Please do, mate. You cannot leave us hanging after that one. Well, he does have a clip release coming up. That is the official self-produced video for his single, Where I Want to Go. And that drops on YouTube on November the 15th, so keep an eye out for that one. And there is an upcoming show, which is going to be a very intimate solo session, and that is at the Workers Club Geelong on December the 5th at 7:30 p.m. If you'd like to add Gemini the Josh to your playlist, you can stream his music from Google Play, Spotify, etc. Or, of course, just head over to his socials for any more info. Okay, next up tonight, preparing to embark on his single launch tour, this is Benny Nelson with Bad Man.
I could really use someone to talk to right now, but I think I locked the door and I've thrown the keys out. It's a Monday night, I'm trying to start a fight, blaming everyone else for the mess I left behind. Trying to find something else to keep you off my mind. I really fucked it up this time. I haven't heard from you since I told you what I'd done, but I think it's important that you spend some time on your own. Well, as soon as I told you shit hit the fan, I've spent every moment ever since then trying to do the best I can, but I understand if you think I'm a bad man. If you think I'm a bad man, I am. Walking down the main street, the belly full of beer, some left in my bottle and my anything. I don't deserve your heart. Fill me up, write me up, write it down as an accidental cause. 'Cause nothing really matters after everything I've lost. And if I deserve anything, I don't deserve your heart. No, I don't deserve your heart. 'Cause I'm a bad man. I'm a bad man. Oh, I'm a bad man. I am.
And that was the talented Benny Nelson with his brilliant single, Bad Man. That is such a stunning track. And what about the production? I reckon they've really managed to capture Benny's live energy on that one. And that is not easy to do by any stretch of the imagination. So very good job, guys. Very well done. And perhaps a precursor of things to come, Benny and his band actually got that track knocked over in just one day. And that was despite Benny having a toothache for the week leading into the recording. Benny said, "I decided to wait until I'd recorded the single before getting my tooth pulled, just in case it interfered with my voice. So that was a painful but memorable experience." Crikey, bro, that is insane. That is such a classic. But then late in 2018, in the midst of announcing his single tour, the growing sense of anticipation amongst Benny and his fans was suddenly brought to a halt. 10 days after recording the track Bad Man, Benny tripped up a set of stairs while holding a glass and suffered severe nerve damage to his hand, threatening to bring his entire musical career to a sudden end. That is so scary. But now, 8 months after being told by doctors that the loss of movement and feeling in his hand may be permanent, Benny is back performing with his band. That is awesome news. So if you'd like to catch Benny at one of his live shows, he's actually about to commence the Bad Man single tour. And that kicks off in Toowoomba on Friday, November the 29th, moving to the Gold Coast Saturday, November the 30th, and finishing up at the Milk Factory in Brisbane on Thursday, the 5th of December. Of course, for any more details and show times, etc., just click on over to Benny's social pages. Well, folks, it is that time of the show for tonight's interview. So earlier this week, I did have a very nice chat with a very talented hip-hop artist out of WA, MissGenius, and it really was a lot of fun. So without further delay, here is our chat.
Hello.
Yeah, hi, it's Damien here from Oz Music Podcast. Welcome to the show.
Thank you.
And sorry, I do apologise about running a little bit late today. I had a bit of a mess up with the time zone finally with this daylight savings and calling Western Australia. I can't be calling you at 5 o'clock in the morning.
That's all right.
So, but no, I think I finally got it right. I'll blame your management because they wrote AEST time. So, and that's ours, but I think it must have been daylight savings time they meant. So, but anyway, I apologise about running late.
That's okay. That's all right.
Okay, well, thanks so much for finding the time to have a chat with me today. So, how is things in WA?
Oh, it's good. It's good. It's good. I'm loving the sunshine that's coming. It's getting a little bit hot, but it's good.
Yeah, well, you've got to get in and enjoy the summertime while you can, all the warm weather and hit the beach and all the swimming and all that sort of stuff, especially over in Western Australia. Anyway, I have been listening to your latest single, I Don't Want to Be, and I absolutely love it. And I believe it's due for release on November the 22nd.
Yes, it is. I'm very excited.
Yeah, I can imagine. You must be just about bursting at the seams waiting for it to come out. It's only a few days' time. What's that, Friday? So anyway, the track is beautiful. I love it. I love that laid-back vibe. You've got really mature sound on this track.
Well, thank you. It was, it was I guess the feel of it when I was writing it as well. So that was something that just came out, so to speak. When I actually started writing it, it was planned to just be a rap song, but I'm happy that it turned out the way that it did, and we've got the singing in there and all of that, the way that it's played out. I'm so happy with it and so excited to share it with everyone.
Yeah, and so you should be. You should be really proud. It's a beautiful song. I really, really love it. And it's got a great message too. Maybe tell the listeners a little bit about the inspiration for the song, what the story of the track's about.
I really got into thinking about what had been going on lately and the role models that we have around when it comes to the youth and younger people as well, and then just ourselves in general. And I felt like a lot of concern was on keeping up with trends and whatever the celebrities are wearing or doing, that's the style and we all have to do that, or not so much have to, but really trying to get that look and trying to keep up. And, for those
All that peer
that
group
go
pressure.
through that, yeah,
Yep.
because, and a lot of the message was that, if you want to be looking like basically a plastic doll if it's a woman, or you want to look like a Ken doll if it's a guy, it's going to require money, and a lot of money that some people don't have.
Yeah,
And
exactly.
it's also that message of being happy in our own bodies and accepting that this is the case that we have, and we can't change it, but to love it and embrace it. And yeah.
Yeah, that's right. And television is such a powerful medium, and it sort of delves on the Hollywood people, and as you said, with their money, and they can support it, and they're in there getting all the treatments and the hair dyes and what have you, teeth whitening, and
Yes.
the list goes on and on. So it's very hard for people to relate that that's not generally the normal thing.
Yes, I just kind of think the message that I wanted to pass across was a lot of the youth as well, and everyone don't get obsessed with being a picture that's perfect, because, well, there's no such thing as perfect, but we can find perfect in imperfect situations. So taking a look at yourself and picking out the parts that you like, instead of looking at yourself and taking all the bits that you don't like.
That's right. Some
Yeah,
things
and
are
there's a
out of
lot
your
of
control. That's right.
yeah. I've heard another a song that I had liked, and I heard this a while ago, and it just stuck. One word that stuck in my head was, young girls are growing into their mother's face, but nowadays they know how to cut and paste. And that just hit me, because it just thought like, the amount of younger people that are just wanting to change. And if we did have money, or they did have money, could you imagine the amount of plastic surgery and all these other things going on? And it's like, wait a minute, we need to connect back to ourselves, to earth. And that was kind of what it was about, that love yourself.
Yeah, well, you can just see in all the Snapchat filters and things like that people are trying to change the way they look to suit certain
Yes.
expectations, which is just wrong, really. So, but I think the world is changing with great artists like yourself pushing the message.
Yes, I would really want to push. I've got a lot of nieces and younger people, nephews, and all that I feel like, I have a responsibility as an artist to set that example for them, and a good one. So, it's not all about being half naked just because you're doing music and you want to be a celebrity. It's not about that. You can dress however you like. If you want green hair and wear red shoes, then so be it.
Yeah, Adele was such a great change, and very powerful as well for that message.
Yes. Yes, absolutely.
Did she put out a new album lately? I heard she was going to. I don't know if she's released it at all yet, but I believe she did that first one and became, instant millionaire, global hit. Probably didn't need to release any more, but I believe she has just released one, or just about to. So, but
I'll be getting on to that.
yeah, definitely my word. Hey, well, it mustn't be out, otherwise we'd all be hearing it on the radio, I dare say. So
Yes.
yeah, for sure. Hey, the song was recorded at RADA. Is it RADA Studios by Matt Geo and Dan Carroll?
Yes, that's the one.
Yeah, I know Matt's done a bit of work with a few, big bands like Birds of Tokyo, Rudimental and stuff like that. How did that come about? How did you get into the studio?
I guess it was the putting myself out there and having the support of Wham, which was awesome. And the more that I had put myself out there, not so much publicly, but just networking, a lot of people got to hear the demo of it, and it was like an instant, yes, let's do this.
Nice.
And I was so grateful to have that opportunity to work with such brilliant people. The whole team that have worked on this single, there's no words to express how grateful I am to
Yeah.
all of them. Yeah, yeah. I don't even
Any
have
shout
really
outs
any
you want to
words.
do to anyone?
Yeah, shout out to them all.
Yeah.
There's too many people to just put one thing on and say thank you to one or two people. There's
Yep.
so much. So I'm thankful for everyone.
Yeah, excellent, excellent. And you mentioned they heard the demo, so I'm guessing that was recorded in your home studio. I believe you've got a bit of a home
Yes.
studio. And so what is your recording process, and where do you get your beats and stuff, samples and stuff from for you to sing over?
So I have a selective amount of people that I turn to for beats.
Okay.
And I'm very, very, I wouldn't say picky, but it was more or less whatever I'm feeling. The sound has to be the same.
Yep.
Of what I don't know, it's like a vibe. So I could be sitting at home and I could be watching TV, and then suddenly I've got these words just popping in my head. I get up and I quickly run in the room and I lock the door and I've got turn my microphone on, headphones on,
Nice.
and I just start writing and go through whatever beats, and whatever beats fit in with whatever I'm writing.
Yep.
Then I'll take it. It works, and then I'll go with it. But if not, I would have a full song written in lyrics until I find the perfect beat. Otherwise, I'll make one.
Okay.
And yeah, I pretty much just do the rough over demo version, and then it's so good to work with other people because you bounce off each other.
Yeah,
And
definitely.
I recommend that a lot of artists that have been working alone a lot should step out of their comfort zone and take that opportunity, because I've had such a wonderful experience just meeting so many different artists, and it just inspires you more to keep going and try new things. And that's what I think success is, when you sit down and you network with so much people
Yep.
and share your stories.
Collaborating, definitely. I was having, actually, to be honest with you, most of the artists that I've had a chat to all say the same thing. I was chatting with Buddy Ryan, and he, had a good 5 minutes, talk about the importance of the way that you may not hear something and then somebody else will hear something and put that in, and the way that affects you and affects the song. And it's brilliant. Collaborating with other artists is definitely the way to go. There's no doubt about it. So
Yes, definitely.
what have you got in the studio? Can you give us a bit of a rig rundown? What's your mics and
Oh, well, basically,
workstation?
it's just my good old MacBook
Okay.
and a Rode microphone, and that's
Yep.
it.
Yeah.
I can extend and get other things, but we were having a laugh the other day, me and a couple others, about my microphone is slowly dying,
Yeah.
and I
Yep.
refused to let it go. It was my
Yeah.
first microphone, and I just, like, if I put too much, I feel like I will fall away from the zone that I'm in. And I will experiment, but I will experiment other places. But when it comes to at home in my own home studio, I just have that one microphone and the laptop, and that's it. And that's the best way I can write the best stuff.
Yeah, like a little comfort blanket, basically.
Yes, yes, that's it.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. For sure. No, that's great. Do you just plug it straight into the Mac, or do you have an interface, or?
Oh no, I just plug it straight into the Mac, so it's nice and simple. It's like stage one again.
Yeah,
But
yeah. That's a USB powered.
it's just, yeah,
Ah,
it just
okay. Yep.
reminds me. It just reminds me of where I started, and it reminds me to keep that same attitude and make sure that I know who I am and not go too much when I'm writing. Because I think once I get too much instruments or too much around me, I feel like I float away from where I am.
Yep.
So I can float away from where I am when I collaborate with other people and all that. But if I'm going to write a story, because I'm not so much writing about partying and all of this stuff, it's good to do that fun stuff. But when I'm writing, I like to keep it storytelling. And the best way to storytell is when I connect with myself and keep it simple. And then I can like just pull out. It's so amazing. I don't know how I do it, but it just comes out naturally.
Yes, I wish I could. Anyway, I'm a guitar player, so that's my excuse. But no, I find it very hard to do lyrics, and I can write the lyrics, but then getting a vocal melody. And when I used to write with my former partner Tim, and I'd write some progression on the guitar, and he'd come around, and I'd already have some preconceived melody in my head, and then I'd play it over to him a few times, and he'd get something, either like it or not. And if he liked it, he'd think about it for a bit, and then he'd come back and go, and sing this glorious melody, and I think, thank God I didn't sing what I was thinking in my head, because that's so much better. But
it's always good to have that extra person to fill in like certain areas that you can't. So I know that I can sing certain tones, and I know that I can, when I do some singing, it's on some of my songs. But I have some songs that are unfinished, obviously just waiting.
yep, yeah. So do you have
and
a
I'm
bit of a
just,
library, a bit of a back catalogue there?
oh, yes, I do.
Oh, excellent, excellent.
But yeah, can't dig too deep in there. But I have so much that I could collaborate with, but I'm just waiting. So I just keep my ear out for other artists, and once I hear them, and that it's like the song will just pop out once I hear another artist's voice, and I'm like, yep, right, that's the one. Need to try to get them on there.
Yeah, well, when I was doing a bit of a stalk on YouTube and Facebook and stuff, I saw you've got quite a few YouTube clips there for the listeners. You've got to get along. There's loads there to have a look at. But there was one you collaborated with Rez.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, that's a great track as well. So do you try to do a lot of collaborations, and how do you find the artists? Are they friends or through management or?
I do try to find a lot of collaborations, but if I speak freely and honestly, it had been a bit of a struggle for me
Yep.
to find collaborations. So when I got to work with Rez, I actually thought that was pretty amazing, because he's a great artist, and to have that opportunity to do a song together, we took our time on it, and I'm so happy with the way that it had come out. And a lot of the stuff that's on YouTube has been put up way before I've done my first live gig.
Oh,
So
really? Yeah, yep.
yeah, so that's why it's left there and the way that it is, and I'm just happy to see that people can see this is where it started from, and then I Don't Want to Be is going to be released, and then obviously there's going to be more, and I'm just so excited to show the process of how I've grown on the inside.
Look, I can personally hear in this song that everything's matured. The song, the vocals, the way it's written, it's really, really good. Very, very good. I was really impressed, to be honest with you. I had it on loop for quite a while. So, yeah, and I love the James Bay cover you do there too. That's just so edgy. It's a lot different to the original, and still
Yes.
pays tribute to it. So, it's beautiful. Any more tributes coming up in mind that you're going to do, or you're going to work on just more original material? Or
I love writing my original material because it feels like a release for me. And I guess when it comes to other stuff, that was something that I had tested the waters out. But I feel like my strong point is doing that storytelling from my own experiences and stuff. But if I can jump on that, it depends on how it happens. I mean, one minute I could be sitting there and not interested in doing a cover or, my own version of a song, and then the next day I could just get up and start writing. It feels like it's completely out of my control, really. It just happens when it happens.
yeah, so as far as inspiration goes, then what's your, do you have certain things that inspire you, like you said earlier, when you hear something or watch something, or is there a general technique you would do, rather than do you ever sit down and say, right, I'm going to write a song today, or is it more of a spontaneous thing?
I'd say it's so I wouldn't even know how to explain it. I guess I'm a very emotional person as well. So when and I mean by I pick up on other people's emotions as well, and I'm a bit of a softie when I see things happening in the world, and
Nothing wrong with
now,
having empathy. Yeah, sorry.
Yes. So right now, I guess, if I were to write something, it would be about everything that's going on in the world, because that's what's on my mind and that's what's bothering me. And that would be something that I would write. So I don't know when I would write something about it. It could be tomorrow. It could be this afternoon. I don't know. It could be 2 weeks down the track, but it will be a release. It's just a matter of when I'm ready to do it. And I really never know, but I just take that opportunity. So as soon as something happens, or if I'm on lunch break and some words or something's popped in my head, I just grab my phone out and I just record it. I just talk, so I don't even worry about rapping or singing. I just talk about what's happening, and I'll take that away later when when I get into that mode.
Interesting. What artists are your influences? Like, where do you, Missy Elliott
Oh,
or?
wow. There's so many. I would say the struggle of Eminem is a good one
Okay,
because it
yeah,
shows,
cool.
how hard he had it, and he didn't let anything, you know, predict what he was going to be and who he was going to be, and he kept going because he didn't want to feel or live the life that he was living anymore. And that's something that, I had come from a rough bringing up as well, and that was something I don't want to do or experience anymore. And that was one person. But then there's so many artists. I mean, I love Tracy Chapman and her story like her story. Oh my gosh, there's so many people that I can't put my finger on. I get inspired by not just musicians, but people around me. Anybody that is willing to share a story or hear a story, I take that into account, and I'm very grateful to hear that.
Yeah, yeah. Well, look, I believe you're inspiring a few people as well. I read that you have a public speaking and confidence coach role for young Indigenous women. And
Yeah.
how did all that come about, and what does it actually entail? What do you do?
So it's just about teaching. Now it's for both genders, and it's about teaching the kids, the youth, how to express themselves through words. Because unfortunately, some of them don't have anyone they can talk to at home, or they're enclosed and they're not going to open up to accounts, so they're not going to do that. They might not have the right people or support around them, so they don't have anybody to talk to. And this is where it goes back into them holding in things, and that leads to lashing out, that leads to exclusion, that leads to locking themselves in a room, becoming depressed, and all this other stuff. So my biggest concern is giving them a tool that they can use, which I had, because as a young teenager, I felt like I had nobody to talk to, and I turned to writing. And I'm grateful that I found that strategy. So it's my goal to share it. So it's basically teaching them to write a song, story, or anything, but it has to come from somewhere deep inside. So I end up making a room cry,
Really?
not intentionally.
Yeah.
But it's a release for everyone. And once they get it out, it's written out, and I've just given them a strategy to write out their feelings without talking to another human being, but they've released it. So it's not the only option for them, but it is a tool.
Wow, that is incredible. Honestly, you're an inspiration to us all. So, when you're not helping out in the community, I see you are out playing plenty of gigs and festivals. And I believe your very first show was at the Western Australia Music Festival back in 2018. Is that correct?
Yes, that was it was the Goldfields touring circuit
Yeah, what
with
is all that
Grand
about?
Casual and Tapping Sticks. So it was like a Wham Fest, but in Kalgoorlie. So a small version, and it was a touring circuit for the Grand Casual band and Tapping Sticks. And I had the opportunity to play alongside them with a couple of other artists, and it was my first time. So prior to that, I had only rapped and sung to myself in my bedroom.
Really?
So
That would have
I
been
hadn't
so
really.
daunting.
It was very different. I was very nervous, but I was very eager as well, because I think I wanted to see how I went as well as other people wanting to. So that was awesome, and yeah, I had gone up. I felt what it felt like to do it on stage, and it was just amazing. There wasn't an extreme amount of people, but there, it was just, I can't even explain it really. I just got up, and the energy that I felt from the amount of people that were there, and I got back, I just thought this is feeding the fire, and this is what I want to do. That from that moment it was like, yes, I want more,
Yeah. Did you
so
get
to
to meet a
speak.
few other artists while you were there?
Yes, I actually, Grand Casual actually watching from the crowd, and I thought they were just musos, like people that like music and jump around to each place and listen. And then, so I walked over, and they're like, "You were really good. I love your flow and whatnot." And I'm going, thank you so much." And then I was like, "Oh, are you coming to watch Grand Casual and all that?" And they just started laughing because it was like, "We are Grand Casual," and I was like, "Oh my gosh!"
That's so funny.
So
Oh,
I was
classic.
still like a newborn.
Yeah. So, and there was a couple, you've done a couple of other festivals, I see as well. So that would have
Oh,
been,
we've been busy.
yeah.
But it's been excellent. I think we smashed out the Jack Rabbit Wham Fest. Wham Fest at the Jackrabbit. It was hip hop night, so I got to perform with like Tone Youth and High Class, and there was just heaps of just amazing artists everywhere around Northbridge. I can't even keep up with the amount of people. I was writing a list on night. So every time I was meeting someone or seeing someone, I was like, oh my gosh, I love their music. I didn't want to miss out on not being able to go back and listen to these artists' music. So I had to write a list throughout the night, and that was just that was awesome. We did. I did Ashfield back in 2018 as well for NAIDOC Day.
Okay.
That was amazing.
Where's Ashfield? What's...
Oh, sorry, in Perth. So
Right, okay.
yeah, so in the Bassendean area, around near Perth, and that was awesome because I remembered being a little kid going to the Ashfield event, and we would be there every year, and
Amazing.
then to be an adult coming back and attending in that way was just it was just amazing. We did NAIDOC Awards. I had performed at NAIDOC Awards for this year. Luckily, got nominated for 3 awards in Wham for Wham.
Yeah, what were the categories?
Best hip hop artist, best new act, and best Indigenous act.
Excellent.
So,
sounds like things are really clicking for you.
Yeah, I think a bit faster than I thought.
Yeah, so you must have
good.
You're back at Whamfest for 2020. Do you have any other shows lined up or waiting for it all to
Fingers crossed. Yeah. We know that we'll be at the Nanup Festival 2020 in March, so I can't wait for that. It's got an extreme lineup of wonderful artists, and I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, awesome. So what's your next release? You can do an EP, a single, or a video clip for one of the tracks, or you got anything in the pipeline?
We got a couple of things up the sleeve. I just kind of like to sit on it and bust it on people. Yeah, I like to be a little bit surprising.
Yeah, no, fair enough. Look, so where do you see yourself in 10 years?
Oh, wherever my life takes me. I'm kind of a go with the flow person.
Yeah, haven't got any certain goals or things you want to do?
As long as I've
festivals you want to conquer? Yeah.
Oh, there is, like, at the end of the day, there wouldn't be one festival I put my finger on or one thing that I do. I know that a lot of my family and friends and support around me, they have some ideas like, oh, I want to see you do this and I want to see you do that. And that's amazing. But at the end of the day, it's me telling my story and having people relate to it. And it doesn't matter where I am as long as I can do it. That's pretty much it. So as long as I get to travel a little bit more and see the world, and I get to share my music with as much people as I can connect with, that's all I'd ask for. Not really anything else. I set small goals and small achievable ones, and I guess it's good to reach for the stars and whatnot, but I like to just whatever happens, happens.
Steady, one step at a time. Yeah. Well, have you been over to Queensland? Have you been, or East Coast? We'll have to get you over the East Coast.
Yeah, definitely. I went to Sydney a couple months ago, and it was my first time out of WA.
Yeah, well, I've never been to WA, so what's it like over there? We couldn't speak to you on Saturday because you were driving, I think it was Esperance to Kalgoorlie. Yeah, you mentioned Kalgoorlie and Broome and Perth, so yeah, it sounds like there's a lot of distance and a bit of travelling happening there. So yeah, what's it like over there? I've never been there.
Oh, well, we just got back from Esperance yesterday from a gig that we did there.
Okay.
Valley Nights by Kaiser Presents. It was absolutely awesome. It was a lineup. I had gone performing alongside Fieldsy and Jamila and Dr. Tasty and Rachel. It was like a lineup of us 5
they're
female
hip-hop
artists.
as well?
Pardon?
All hip-hop artists?
No, it was a little bit of a mix. There was 2 hip hop artists, which was me and Dr. Tasty, and it was just amazing. Just from the first gig, having Rachel sing, and then I went on, and then we had Dr. Tasty, then we had Fieldsy, and then Jamila ended the night like with a bang. It was amazing. So that's why we were a bit busy. Couldn't get on the phone. I had to drive there and drive back from Kalgoorlie, and had to. It was good. It was very good, and that's what I like about seeing the scenery when we get to drive. gives you more inspiration for when you get home.
Yeah, well, the place looks fantastic, and all the photos and videos and everything I've seen, and watching the sunset over the water would be amazing. I'll definitely have to make my way over there one day, I suppose.
Oh, I think any regional area, oh no, not anywhere in WA, you will find a beautiful place, and there's too much to just put one spot on it. I'm very lucky to be here, living here.
Yeah, I don't mind a bit of surfing, so I believe there's some pretty good surf over there as well, as long as you dodge the sharks.
Yeah, there's the most, and some crocodiles, depending where you are.
No, thank you. That'd be a bit of a surprise. Get me paddling pretty quick. So
I can't surf though. Once upon a time I tried, and I keep trying.
You have to be determined. It's just nice to get out there and splash around. I'm not that fit anymore, so I don't get to go as quite often as I'd like to. So I get out there and do a lot of puffing and paddling.
I just float, and I have to pop up every now and then to make sure I'm not floating out to sea.
Yeah. Look, well, where can the listeners find you and your music? You must have Insta and Facey and YouTube, as I mentioned before.
I have 3 releases on Spotify and Google Play, iTunes, or anywhere that you can any streaming. So Amazon as well, and any streaming.
And that's just really. Under MissGenius?
Yes, and it's MISS, no space, GENIUS. And Facebook, YouTube, any social media, I'm on it all.
Excellent. Yeah, you've got to get yourself out there, don't you? So that's what it's all about.
True, yeah.
That's what it's all about. Well, look, we'd better wind things up. So thank you so much for the chat. I've really had a lot of fun, and I do apologise for that technical difficulty at the beginning and in the middle there. So these things happen.
That's okay.
As we were saying before, there's things that are out of your control, and you just have to roll with it. So, but we've worked it out. That's the best thing. So, look, I really hope all the best for you and the next releases, and hopefully we can get up and catch up for a chat in the future again.
Yeah, definitely. Really appreciate it. Thank you.
I appreciate your time. And as I said, thanks very much. And I'll let you get on with your day.
All right. You have a lovely day.
You too. Thank you so much for the chat. That was MissGenius. Wow, such a lovely and down-to-earth person. That really was a lot of fun. Okay, well, I do have some incredible news for you all. As you heard, her latest track is actually due for release this Friday, but we have graciously been given permission to spin up the new track on tonight's show, making this the world premiere release of the song. That is remarkable, and we truly feel honoured to be given the opportunity to be the first platform to air the new single. Look, I won't hold you out any longer. This is MissGenius with I Don't Want to Be.
I don't wanna be me again. I don't wanna be them. So end this it. I don't wanna be me again. I don't wanna be them. When is it? She starts to dream this dream, she starts to fiend. She doesn't wanna be home, the place she feels alone. Why can't I be like them porcelain dolls? So perfect, every man think that it be worth it. Don't he know that I can work it? But I be basic, so that category ain't gon' make it. I don't wanna wear this makeup every day. I'm still beautiful. Well, at least my mama say. I don't wanna be me again. But I don't wanna be like them. When is it? I don't wanna be me again. But I don't wanna be them. When does it? I try to dress to impress just like the rest, but then I feel a strain. My body's under arrest. I just wanna be somebody else's interest. Put me to the right and stop pushing me to the left. I mean, like, body image is putting the weight on my chest. How can we keep up with the celebrity trend? How can I be a populous friend? If I'm a populous friend, I'll be that last on the bend. I don't wanna be me again, but I don't wanna be like them. So when does it end? 'Cause I don't wanna be like them. Where does it end? Every picture needs the right angle. So much pressure, I don't think that I can really handle. I'm collecting all these likes and follows, but really, inside I'm feeling hollow. But wait, if I get that perfect picture, I'll be feeling better tomorrow. This world that I live in just makes me feel uncomfortable in my own skin. With that money, how do I win? How do I fit in? I just wanna be thick, but then I wanna be thin. So I don't wanna be me, but I don't wanna be them. I said I don't wanna be like them, like them. I don't wanna be me again.
With her worldwide premiere release, that was MissGenius with I Don't Wanna Be. Such an incredible song, and I really love her sultry vocals, and the way they're blended over those smooth beats just totally nails it. Well, listeners, if you'd like to stay up to date with MissGenius's music, just head on over to the social pages that she listed before, and we will of course drop some links on our Facebook page as well. Okay, well, we'd better move on with the show. Next up tonight, this is Isekai.
On the floor and I was stuck in a song. You whispered, tell me everything, and then I knew I was sold. Above the world where we both exchanged a truth and a lie, gazing down upon a stairwell, vacant faces passed by, as I would hang on every word, yet avoiding your eye. Maybe things aren't so clear-cut when they're right in front of you. Maybe there's a little more. So we adjourned, and one day you simply didn't come back. So I would grow to become so deranged and detached. And all the while I had so many thoughts on my mind, and only chest and hair so free to finally feel so confined.
And that was Isekai with More Than Two. Such a sensational track, and I'm just loving that low down dirty guitar tone. And if you did manage to listen to the lyrics, you may have picked up on that the song does tell quite an extraordinary message. Well, Isekai, and I do hope I'm pronouncing it correctly, they are a two-piece rock queercore band who usually sing about a fictional character's brain being uploaded to a computer and how traumatizing that would be. I can imagine it would be very traumatizing, well, for me anyway. But their most recent single, More Than Two, which is the track we just played, brings the trauma a little bit closer to home, singing about the darker, scarier parts of questioning your gender identity and the struggle against dysphoria and the isolation that comes from existing outside the binary. A little bit of trivia for you. Isekai is actually from Japanese origin and means different world. Very cool. So if you like the track as much as I did, be sure to head over to this Spectacular Duos Facebook page and hit on that follow button. Of course, then you can keep yourself up to date with any more new releases. Okay, next up tonight on the show, hailing from Melbourne, this is LUNE with Ghost. Sick track. Now that's what I'm talking about. Out of Melbourne, that was LUNE with Ghost. How menacing were those vocal growls and the threatening guitar riffs. Honestly, they're just a match made in heaven. Very scuff, guys, very scuff. Well, that foreboding track was actually their debut single from their upcoming EP of the same name, and I do believe it has been locked in for release early next year. But I do know to support the release there is a show at Stay Gold, and that is on the 21st of December this year. Well, LUNE, they are a 5-piece metalcore band out of Melbourne, and as you heard, they are a refreshing combination of soaring melodies and exceptionally heavy grooves. The band have spent the last year producing a range of content to best showcase themselves as an exciting, experienced and explosive new act. So keep your eye out on LUNE, as I can see an emerging act like this is clearly destined for big things. As I mentioned earlier, they do have an upcoming show celebrating celebrating the release of the single. The event is on Facebook, so head over to their page, click on the like button, and you'll be able to check out all their gig dates and times. Well, folks, I do believe, sadly, we have arrived to the end of this week's show. So before I spin up our final track for the night, it is that time to quickly do the usual shout-outs. So firstly, a huge thank you to all of you bands and artists and labels for sharing your music with us again. And a big thank you to Matt and the crew over at Artie's Music for their continued support. They do have retail stores in Brisbane and Townsville, or you can hit them up at artiesmusic.com.au 24 hours a day. And of course, we will put the website link in the show description. And finally, last but not least, I definitely cannot forget you, our loyal listener, hanging around with me until the end of the show every week. We really do appreciate it. And if you would like to listen into any of the past episodes, read show notes, or even find details on any of the previously featured artists, just head on over to our website at ozmusicpodcast.com. Well, our final band for tonight formed all the way back in December 2018, and they were very quick to jump into the studio to record the first 5 songs they wrote, which actually turned into their self-titled EP. The band is LOCUS. There's a mutual feeling for LOCUS in this EP, and it means everything to the 3 band members. These 5 songs fell out of LOCUS like it was always meant to be, 3 humans with exactly the same vision. They do have strong themes in their music, with the first song they wrote being a direct message to the struggles of someone who is dealing with any form of anxiety or depression. LOCUS say they pulled inspiration from bands such as Mets, Daughters and Pigs, just to name a few, and they have had plenty of airplay on Triple J's Unearth Radio. They do have the usual socials, Facebook, Insta, Spotify, etc. So after the show, be sure to head over and show this crew some love. It is the perfect track to drive us home tonight, unveiling their second single from their self-titled EP. Out of Melbourne, this is noise rock 3-piece, LOCUS with Gutless.